A once limited release from 2001 that was then retroed in 2020 has now come back as a low top. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and breakdown on these bad boys right here. This is the Air Jordan 1 Low OG and what Sneakers is dubbing just simply the silver colorway, which is very descriptive, I must say. But what these actually are, and they actually do note this in the Sneakers item description, is that it's a riff on a release that was way back in 2001. This was right when the Air Jordan lines really started to retro stuff, like 1999, 2000, 2001. That was when a lot of these things started to come back and actually become popular. They did try to retro stuff back in 1994, 1995 when MJ was retired for the very first time. For whatever reason, those never like really resonated with people. I think people were really still stuck on, we want the new, not the old stuff. But by the time I was in high school, and specifically by the time I graduated, which is like when this shoe released, retros were in full swing and they were popular. They weren't retroing every week like they are now, but we would get 1 to 2 a month and it was awesome. Just in case you were wondering, this is the box. It's a gray box with a shiny silver on there and everything, or a metallic silver. I think that that's pretty cool. The original shoe, actually, the one from 2001, they actually released inside of that Air Jordan 17 style suitcase or briefcase. And I believe when they retroed the shoe in 2020, there was 2 versions. I believe there was one that was in a regular box, and then I think that there was one in a suitcase as well, and those were like a special or limited edition version. I think those shoes were labeled as Tokyo's, even though originally the shoe, I believe, was just a CO.JP release.
This is not a test.
Fume wanted us to let you guys know that they exist so that you can take your bad habit and turn it around. Instead of electronics and vapor, Fume uses flavored air. It's completely natural and free of harmful chemicals while also using natural flavors. There are plenty of which to choose from, and most people tend to gravitate towards the orange vanilla. Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial and is designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing while breaking your bad habit. If you are interested in checking out Fume, make sure to head over to tryfume.com, or you can scan the QR code which you see right here on your screen. Don't forget to use the promo code that you see here as well. It'll save you 10% when you check out the Journey Pack. That's tryfum.com, and again, make sure to use the promo code that you see listed right here on this screen to save an additional 10% off your order today. I've never been a big fan of this colorway, but it's here as a low, so I've said this before and I'll say it loosely one more time. There's really nothing OG about this particular Air Jordan 1 Low OG. If you want something that's truly OG, you want to get the 85 version. And there are reasons for that. Most of these new sneakerheads, at least by the comment section, don't really care. Every time I bring it up, they get mad at me. I don't know why. I'm just trying to teach you guys some stuff. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be nice. Now, the outsole right here is featuring the greatest traction of all time. It's done up in a nice silver or gray color. Moving on up, we've got a simple white rubber cup sole, which I gotta say looks amazing. I'm so glad there's no sale on here. Not that there's anything wrong with sale. I'm just glad that they didn't put it on this one. Inside that rubber cup sole is a polyurethane wedge. Inside that polyurethane wedge is an encapsulated air sole unit. And on top of all of that is this piece of insole right here. They really will not put a good insole in these shoes anymore.
What a little bitch!
Now the materials on these are actually nice. So all of this gray that you see, like the neutral gray or natural gray, I don't know what they're calling it anymore. They keep switching it. But that material right there is actually quite nice. It's a very short-haired nubuck. It's a very nice material. I don't think that anybody should really complain about materials. Quality of the craftsmanship, that's where a lot of people are probably gonna be like, yo, these are trash. And I understand, I wouldn't necessarily use those words, but definitely slop. There's like scuffs and, you know, pieces of glue and fingerprints and all kinds of stuff on here, and that's fresh out the box. Now the part about the shoe that I don't necessarily love, and I've never really loved it, is the metallic leather. As somebody that's not a big fan of the glossy leather that they use half the time, I'm definitely not a fan of this. I will say that the material in and of itself is actual leather, so if you're looking for like nice materials, again, it's pretty decent. It's soft to the touch. I don't necessarily like the finish, but the leather itself is nice enough, but it's just not my thing. However, if it's your thing, I think that you will like it. I don't know for a fact, so you're just gonna have to let me know, like, are you digging this, or is this too much for you? Now, a couple of things that they changed from the original release would be the tongue. The original high tops actually featured a leather tongue build, and then they had the Jordan Jumpman stitch at the very top. The 2020 release featured a similar tongue, even though not as nice of quality, and then they actually had the Nike branding stitch on the top. This guy right here, they took off the leather tongue, they put on the nylon tongue with a traditional or standard Nike Air tab. I actually really like that. I think that this is better than the original stuff. This is just more comfortable to me. It feels better, it's less cumbersome, it doesn't push into your ankle all weird. So I really do like this change. And then one of the other things that was like a very clear, like, oh, that's different, is actually the laces. First off, there's not a second set of them, so some people might really not like that, I don't know. But on top of that, they're actually flat laces like they traditionally are in the typical Air Jordan 1 releases. The original version of the shoe though did feature oval laces, so that was one of those things where it was kind of like a retro plus colorway, even though I don't think it was technically labeled that. However, some of the things that they did keep from the originals, minus the briefcase, even though they could have, that would have been crazy if they would have put that new 17 box with these. It'd been way too much. But the original release did come with the Jordan Jumpman keychain. A lot of retros, or a lot of retro ones back in the day came with this. This was like a tribute to the hang tag that came with the original products. So seeing this on here, I do think was cool. I don't know if you're going to like that they took away an extra set of laces for this. I think that what they should have done, since they already skimped out on the insole, is kept the keychain, kept these flat laces, and then the secondary lace that they would have included in the shoe should have been the oval gray lace. I think that would have been super cool. And it would have been a great little throwback to the original product without them having to do much of anything. And then last but not least, the thing that they kept additional, this is the part that I don't know if it necessarily works on this shoe, is the Wings logo on the rear right here. It's a gel Wings logo. That used to be obviously on the collar for the high tops. They smush it down on these low top releases because it's supposed to fit on that little tab there. The original jewel logos don't age well. They do yellow, and then on top of that, they'll start to crack. That's probably what's going to happen on these guys as well. I just think that it's, while it looks really nice, I just think it's very weird seeing it so small and squished on this panel. Like it like fills the whole thing up.
I like it.
You do like it?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like as long as you're actually wearing your shoes, if you wore them enough, by the time it gets to that cracked whatever,
oh, I agree.
Who cares?
Right, that's the thing, is that if you wear your shoes and it eventually gets to that point, it's just kind of like a rite of passage. But if you pull them out of the box every once in a while, and all of a sudden you pull them out and you're like, whoa, that's where you're gonna be like, should have got your money's worth, bro. Should have worn them things. As far as fit is concerned, I go down half a size in the Air Jordan 1 Low OG. I feel like they fit a little bit weird, kind of long. Not long enough to where like it feels good when you go down half a size, but just enough to where they feel real floppy if you go true to size. So what I recommend is going down half a size and then really breaking them in. Once they do that, then they feel awesome. It'll take a little bit of time, but trust me, you'll enjoy it. It'll get less of the weird creases and bubbling in the toes. So for me, I think it's worth it. And then if you're a wide footer, you might want to just go true to size. I think that they'll fit you perfectly. For those of you guys interested in grabbing these, I'm not sure exactly which retailers they'll be available at. Since I see them on sneakers, I assume it'll be a general release. But if you're in our area, which is the Sacramento area, make sure that you hit up Phenom over in the Delco Shopping Center. I'm not aware of what their release procedure is going to be, so for that, you're going to want to follow them on social, which you'll see somewhere on the screen right here. But with all that being said, do we happen to have a question of the day?
Yes, I hope you're ready to get nerdy.
Always.
Who is your favorite character in the original X-Men animated series compared to X-Men 97?
Oh, what a coincidence. You did it on purpose.
I did.
Okay. This shirt is no longer available by the time you see this video. Sales are closed. We also dropped some fresh, which we haven't done in like 7 years, WearTesters merch. So hopefully you grabbed one and supported it, because I don't know if we'll ever do it again.
We're like cicadas, where they only come out every however many years.
It's only based off of support.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't get supported, we're not going to drop merch. It's just what it is. But what was the question again?
Who's
my
favorite
favorite character from the first series?
Yes,
versus this new one?
Yeah.
It's a layered answer, which I know that you don't want to hear.
It's because you're an ogre.
They stink?
Yes. No.
Oh, they make you cry?
No.
Because there was characters I loved seeing in the original series, like Iceman, even though they turned him into a head. Angel, even though that wasn't the greatest, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't the best showcasing of that character. Beast, but he was barely in it, at least in the first like season and a half. Wolverine, obviously, but he's like everyone's kind of like go-to and stuff. I'd get excited for like the cameo characters, like Colossus, that was awesome. Nightcrawler, awesome. The ones that weren't in the show are the ones that I get most excited for. As far as my favorite, it might be Sabretooth. I f***ing love that guy, dude. Like, I don't know what it is about him. He looks so cool. It might be that one. I think he was in episode 1, and he wasn't in a lot of them, but the ones that he was in, I used to get so excited about. I used to have this like thing called Pocket Comics. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It was like Mighty Max, but for Marvel. And it was a cool comic book cover, and you open the box and it was like a playset or like a mini playset inside. And I had the little Wolverine with the little saber tooth, and I fucking loved that thing.
So it was like Polly Pocket for boys.
No, I said Mighty Max.
I'm just saying.
Not Polly Pocket. Mighty Max. As far as my favorite character on 97, that's also really hard. The 97 show did each character so well, where the original one, I'm not going to say didn't, because that one did adapt like comic book storylines really well, really drawn out too, whereas this one was very condensed, but like so fast paced that it somehow worked. But you got a little bit of shine on everybody. Even Jubilee got like an episode. I think that the well-roundedness of the show was great. I think that Rogue might be one of the best as far as like overall, just because like you see, you know, where you left her off, and then you see her and Gambit evolve, but then she gets confused with the love triangle with Magneto, which was never part of the original series, but it was part of the comics, so that was kind of weird. Or actually, I might say Morph, because he was the guy that was bringing those cameos. Man, when Psylocke showed up, Colossus showed up, all kinds of shit. He even was Hulk for a second. It was cool as shit. I don't think he was my favorite character though. I want to say it might be Cyclops, and I don't like him at all. He's never been my favorite ever. He's always a... Sorry, I know that some of my friends really love him. Like Arun loves Cyclops, and he always gets so mad whenever I say this, but I don't like Cyclops. He's a kid. But in this show, I did relate to probably him the most, especially with the whole Cable situation and stuff. And so yeah, it was really cool. I really like Cable too. The whole show was good. But anyways, what about you guys? Are you guys old enough to have lived through the original series as well as X-Men 97? What was your favorite character from each? If you want to tell me why, that'd be cool too. Also, are you a fan of this particular colorway of the Air Jordan 1, the original from 2001, the retro from 2020, and now the low top version? I will say that out of the three, I think that this one is the best one. Not by quality or anything like that, just in the fact that I prefer lows, so I like this one. Plus, I really love this tongue. I do not like the leather tongues. They look so weird. But sound off below, let us know. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate you guys. We will catch y'all in the next one. So until then, have a good one.